Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Steven Spielberg's Bridge of Spies from 2015. So yes, we are back once again to discuss another Spielberg film. Obviously, very recently, we discussed Ready Player One, and yes, once again another kind of recent Spielberg film to kind of go over and just to kind of share my thoughts on this film upon my first watch, of course, a few weeks ago, sitting down finally to watch this film, and of course, behind me, the Blu-ray sits, and yes, just popping this in, and just being really taken aback, by this film, and of course, there will be spoilers, in this discussion. So if you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first, kind of watching this, and then coming back to this this review here, and we can kind of go from there. And if you want, you can kind of leave your thoughts in the comments, and we can kind of discuss this film and other Spielberg films. I look forward to that, and yes, as always, it's just going to be a pleasure to kind of do that because it's Steven Spielberg, and yes, what a master, what an individual he is, and once again, kind of another kind of Tom Hanks pairing. So yes, with all that said, let's kind of discuss this film, and of course, yes, around about 2 weeks ago now, I sat down to watch this film, and I knew kind of the basic plot of this film, and kind of who was in this, of course. But really, as I always do, kind of I left the kind of sense of wonder in the sense of I didn't really look too much into this film. I was aware of course, the actual, kind of real life, kind of particulars that this is based on. But I didn't really know how this would be approached, and I just knew the genre, of course, and just kind of a few things about this film. But I had quite high hopes for this, and I see some people, kind of count this as one of the better, you could say, Spielberg works, at least in recent kind of decades, you could say. And I was really hyped for this, kind of this Cold War, thriller, and this kind of very, very intriguing structure, I must say, and just a film that kind of kept surprising me. Definitely, each kind of half an hour that went by was very, very different, you could say, to the previous one, and at the same time, it felt like this complete experience, and this real epic film, I must say, in scope, and and ambition, and at the same time keeping that kind of personal, kind of the aim, the goal of James Donovan, of course, our protagonist, played by Tom Hanks. His task initially is to kind of be act in defence of this kind of more suspected spy. Of course, we do see the opening scenes, different things, and of course, he is convicted later on in the film. But tasked with defending this spy, and we see James Donovan, what he really stands for, is just giving him a fair trial, and just fighting for what is right, what is just, and just to kind of give this individual the fair kind of treatment, despite the kind of course intention of the government around this time and all this kind of stuff, and external influences as well. Elsewhere, we have just this one guy, this one kind of individual, just wanting to do what's right, and kind of the level of humanity shines through instantly, really, and just kind of hooked on this this story, and the way in which this was told. It really is remarkable, this film, and yes. But kind of throughout the film, we have this kind of sticking to this initial kind of good intention, and fighting for justice, and just wanting to make sure this kind of this individual is treated with the kind of dignity, and yes, I guess the giving him the fair treatment. But of course, later on in the film, we kind of have what the film really is initially pitched as, in terms of the actual plot summary. It seems we have this kind of trade, that kind of develops between, of course, Rudolf Abel, who is the obviously the KGB spy that is, as I say, kind of as we know, kind of eventually convicted. Despite the efforts of James Donovan, he is convicted. But yes, he said, Tom Hanks, his character does save him from the death penalty, and he says, keep him just in case we need to trade, of course, with Russia, etc. And of course, yes. The Soviet, KGB spy, is eventually kind of, offered, for this trade between these two other, but initially this one, kind of US individual, of course, Gary Powers, and he is, shot down, when kind of taking pictures, of course, and shot down in Russia, and then taken in, as prisoner, and of course we have him, and he is. Unfortunately, not being treated, too well, during the film. But yes, we have as well this other character, U.S. individual, in Berlin, and he is, of course, Frederick Pryor, and he is as well, kind of used in this trade. So by the kind of the second half of the film, soon after that, we have these three individuals, of course, these two U.S. Individuals, and we have this Soviet spy, of course, played by Mark Rylance, and he is just, in this film, Mark Rylance, is just, stunning. He gives such a great performance. Even from the kind of opening sequence we have, this instant, I find humanity that Mark Rylance brings to this character of Rudolph Abel, and despite seeing what he's doing, all this kind of stuff, there is this instant kind of sympathy that at least I felt for this character, and how he is later kind of treated in the film, and I guess James Donovan is the one who kind of sees that you can't just kind of he sees the corruption I guess once again in the system, and saying that it does and all these things, these particulars, it does remind me of a Frank Capra film, actually a few in particular, of course Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, I guess, which I talked about very recently, and it reminds me, this film, in general, of Frank Capra film, I guess, in some regards, but it's just this kind of warmth that we see, from James Donovan, and at the same time from Rudolph Abel, and he is this very mysterious character, though he's kind of enigmatic, and I guess though there is this instant kind of friendship, or at least mutual connection between these two characters, and later on, as we know, kind of they aren't really together on screen for quite a lot of the second half, but reunited at the end, which we'll get to, which just wow. But yes, instantly I was just kind of involved in this world, and just not too much dialogue perhaps at times in the opening kind of sequences, but we have this wonderful way in which Spielberg is kind of drawing me in, and yes, of course, Thomas Newman as well, composing the score to this film, and so yes, kind of one of the rare Spielberg films that is not composed by John Williams. But this score, is just first it's very atmospheric, the intrigue, the kind of paranoia, is kind of imbued in this score, and kind of just this melancholy, I guess, at times, and this very particular level of warmth, just I feel. But later on, we have such power and overwhelming kind of emotions, in this score, in relation to what's happened as well. But especially Homecoming, that track, that piece of music towards the end of the film, just it brought me to tears. It really did, and we'll get to all that. But we have this eventually, kind of really forms in the center of the film, in the middle portion. This kind of free people, trade, I guess, and we have this kind of struggle to actually get all of those involved back to where they are, or back to where they kind of were, and safely into the other party, and we have this kind of involvement of Russia, of Germany, and of course the US, and we have this kind of what an intriguing kind of way in which this is set up. We have so much kind of build up to this, and then of course we go to Berlin, in the second half, and we have James Donovan, of course Tom Hanks, playing this character, this legendary character, and we have him kind of going off on his own, you know, to Berlin, you know, very dangerous, you know, kind of mission, and just, you know, from then, you know, it really did, you know, just improve even more, you know, in terms of just the way in which I was, you know, kind of enraptured in this film, you know, really, you know, to even greater degree, you know, in the second half, I was just on the edge of my seat. You know, we have the kind of family moments as well, you know. James Donovan, you know, is this family man, and he has, you know, his children, and as well Amy Ryan playing, you know, his wife, and you know, she is great in the film as well, and just this kind of, you know, this charm, this magic, of course, family feeling that's kind of portrayed in the first kind of act or so, and you know, really, Spielberg really takes his time. You know, I really admire this, the patience, you know, kind of building up this character of James Donovan and all those who kind of you know, surround him, you know, I guess, and just the kind of relationships that are shown, you know, in the film, kind of really say something about his character as well. You know, it's just this kind of you know, really portraying this kind of theme of family, you know, I guess, which literally every single, almost every Spielberg film, you know, kind of portrays, you know, in some way, and it's so warm, you know, in the way it's done here, and obviously in the end we have this reunion, which is just, you know, really so emotional to me, and you know, just. You know, the way in which this first act kind of played out, we have so much going on here, and we have this initial chase, you know, as we know, you know, it's kind of, you know, trying to, you know, capture this character of Abel, and obviously that happens very early on, but we have, after that, you know, kind of, you know, the kind of the strangeness of, you know, as well, you know, the insurance lawyer being, of course, James Donovan, being actually tasked, you know, with defending this character, you know, this spy, and we have, you know, the kind of corruption, of course, standing up for what is right and just, and you know, this character of James Donovan, and you know, kind of saving his life, of course, and you know, from the death penalty, but you know. After this, we have many different things happening, of course, different themes, external, you know, factors. We kind of have this portrayal of, you know, the public image, you know, public eye, and just how this is affecting James Donovan and you know, his family, and all this kind of stigma, I guess, that comes from this, and you know, just the things that happen to Donovan, you know, as well, later on in the film, you know, it's very shocking, and just you know, it's a shame. And of course, we see this family kind of suffering from this, you know, kind of series of events, and we have this. In that sense, you know, we have a real complexity to this film, the narrative, you know, I guess, and just different emotions, the way in which it kind of, you know, affects this family unit, and that is one of the key themes in this film as well. But of course, soon after that, we have the second half, you know, James Donovan actually travelling to Berlin, and you know, yes indeed, on his own effectively, and trying to, yes, secure this this trade, and you know, kind of negotiate and meet with different individuals, and you know, of course, aided in some way, but you know, there's a lot of the time he is just, you know, walking through the streets, you know, the tension, of course, you know, just so you know, so intense, and just I was on the edge of my seat, you know, literally, and you know, a real thriller, this one, yes indeed. You know, it was so you know, kind of intense, and you know, just seeing, you know, just hoping that nothing happened to this character, you know, Donovan, of course, because he's so relatable, this character, and you know, really instantly, you know, kind of rooted for him, and you know, just through the great writing, of course, the Coen brothers, you know, kind of being the main ones who wrote this film, and you know, it's just wow, what a script, and you know, of course, Matt Charman as well, you know, as well. These three individuals working on this script, and you know, of course, once again, Spielberg, you know, kind of directing this and bringing this all together, you know, in such a way, and you know, just it has that kind of magic, you know, that kind of Spielberg touch, you know, in this film, and you can just feel, you know, the kind of the warmth, you know, imbued in this film, and the level of humanity that I find with every Spielberg film, you know, just really, he knows how to tell any story. You know, he's such a kind of, you know, all-round director. He can do, I truly believe he can do any film and just any genre, and kind of pull it off, and always have that kind of, in some way, that magic, that he brings, and this is no exception. This is a very dark film at times, in that second half, especially, but we have, and it's a very, kind of different film to his, a lot of his filmography, but he does bring that kind of magic and that kind of, cinematic feeling to this film, to telling this story, it's such an investing one, the actual story and the way it's set up, and the exposition, of course, and I was in awe of the kind of blocking in this film. I guess you could say minimalist at times, but I was really just so in awe of this, and catching on to the different angles, and just the two shot kind of use of that, and knowing when to kind of leave it kind of I guess yes, minimalist, and kind of just these these static shots throughout the film, especially in the second half, I was just in awe of, and we have I guess the first half being more of a flowing film in particular areas, just going between different locations, and I guess it's more of this level of energy that's present in that kind of first half, especially the first act. We go to different places very, very quickly, but never losing really, for the most part, the sense of flow and just intrigue. And I think in the second half, pretty much all of this, I would not hesitate to say, it's absolutely masterful. I think this is even better than the first half, and perhaps the first half, at times would not quite be the level of the consistency, yes indeed, of the second half, because it's really, from that, kind of moment where we have Donovan, kind of entering Berlin, it's just literally pretty much, till the credits, we have, this masterpiece really, and it's very, very close for me, actually, to being, a flat out, kind of masterpiece overall. Not quite, but regardless, I think this is just a stunning film, and just so investing. This kind of magic that I get from this, and just complexities. Bringing this kind of this highly compelling story, and to the screen, and to tell it with such conviction, and really a balanced film, and kind of no bias here, and just to really kind of bring out the humanity of this story, and to kind of I guess really show this kind of heroic character of Donovan, and how he just wanted to give a fair trial, and really represent justice, which should have been the case for all involved, but of course this character of James Donovan, this kind of heroic character, he kind of keeps going, and despite leaving his family at some point in the film, as we know, and going to Berlin on his own, very, very dangerous, of course, at this time, and he, considering who he was, of course, and we have these near misses, you could say, at times in the film, in the second half, and of course he's Donovan, his coat is taken, and all this kind of stuff. It's very, really intense, and I didn't really know where the film would go, and what would happen next, I guess, and constantly just kind of what is going to happen here, and I hope this character makes it out safely, in the sense, even though of course, knowing particular things, involving the actual history of this film, just constantly kind of surprised, where we went next, and just this feeling, of the Cold War, so kind of perfectly at times, imbued in this film. I guess the paranoia, and just the kind of uncertainty, that took place. So it's definitely here. It's imbued. Especially I say in the second half. Of course, and just yes. Kind of always kind of as well. At the back of my mind, just kind of wanting to see where kind of Mark Rylance's character, Abel would go, and how this would kind of culminate, I guess, and that final sequence on the actual bridge itself, it's just absolutely genius really, and a masterful sequence, and the kind of moments after this, the kind of the moments where Donovan, returns home, and all of this whole massive, I guess, final act, it's just absolutely mind blowing, and homecoming as well, as I say, on the score to this film, wow, but of course, homecoming, this track it's so imbued with this kind of longing for, this kind of return. Yes, I guess returning to hometown, and just your family, and this whole kind of emotion that's kind of displayed here. Just a very kind of emotional piece, and we have, of course, that final kind of moment on the train. Once again, we have this very complex way in which I guess the public eye is portrayed in this film. It's very funny how initially when the media was portraying Donovan as this kind of this well, in a negative way, I guess. Many were kind of looking at him, and kind of just judging him, I guess, and not really knowing perhaps the full story, and that is always the case. Reading the newspaper, and just them characters looking at Donovan. In the first instance, we have him in the train. That was a really sad moment, but of course later on, in these final moments, we have this once again, this kind of sequence on the train, and he is portrayed this time round, as this savior, as this hero, and it's very funny how the kind of the judgment is passed once again, all this time round, in a very, very different way, and it just kind of, I guess, it's a nice moment there, when the different characters, one in particular is looking at Donovan, but at the same time, it's this kind of, I guess, this this very complex, feeling, and kind of portraying how one's image can shift dramatically through how they are portrayed, in the media, and it is as well, a very, very sad scene, in the sense, it's very overwhelming in its positivity, and all this kind of stuff. But seeing Donovan, seeing those individuals climbing, that the kind of fence there, and him looking back to the moments in Berlin. We had that kind of really shocking moment there, of course, and him looking back to that, and in a way, just kind of seeing the similarity there, in him, perhaps, that kind of representing that moment that he cannot, potentially, escape the trauma, and seeing a different side to the world, and this kind of darkness, kind of perhaps could be brought back at some point, and this moment, I feel as well, really is just it's a very complex moment. On the one hand, we have this kind of the satisfying feeling that he is home, and he is kind of back with his family, and safe, but he is an agent now, I guess. We have this info as well, in the credits, and of course, highlighting that he did go on to act as well on behalf of the US, on many occasions, and freeing and saving, in essence, many more to come, and the 60s, for example, as well. But in that sense, yes, not escaping, I guess, many things, that kind of transpired, for this character, I guess, and he was an insurance lawyer, but after that, not so much, and yes, very, very complex narrative in the way it's kind of doing this, but so not in the sense that it's convoluted, no, just a very, I guess, very varied film, and many, many emotions, that I feel, but just such a clear piece of storytelling. Perhaps the first 45 minutes, there were some moments, a couple of moments that wasn't quite to the level, I think, the rest of the film, but most of this film, especially the second half, is absolutely remarkable, and I think Spielberg, it really did, pull this one off, and it's just hats off to Spielberg. I had very high hopes for this film, but even then, even though I always put my faith 100% in Spielberg, and all those he kind of collaborates with, on occasion, and obviously Tom Hanks, always behind, this guy's an actor, just his work, you know, is just wow, one of my absolute favourites. And despite this, despite my kind of my faith, you know, and my trust in these involved, of course, Spielberg particularly, it did exceed my expectations and became, by the end of this film, such a moving film, you know, experience. So, you know, so investing this film, and you know, very very emotional. You know, by the end credits, you know, I was in tears, and that final moment on the bridge, just the kind of admiration, I guess, you know, mutual admiration and connection that we have between Abel and Donovan is just, you know, really brings me to tears. That moment, and you know, just you know, what a film this is. This friendship, I guess, you know, that is kind of you know, set up very early on in the film, and perhaps, you know, we don't have these characters together at some point for a long time, but you know, that kind of reunion, in a sense, you know, is so heartfelt. And you know, Rudolph Abel, you know, is such a kind of compelling character in his own right as well, and just Mark Rylance, you know, rightfully so, you know, highly praised for this film, and I think he, you know, gave an outstanding performance, you know, here, just, you know, just such a kind of mysterious character, as I say, but you know, one that really, you know, we kind of get the humanity 100%, you know, from this character, and the way in which he plays this character, and you know, Tom Hanks as well, you know, just this this kind of connection here, and this chemistry, I guess, you know, it's just you know, it's a pleasure to see this, and to see these two you know, great actors working together you know, on screen. It's just, it was a treat, it really was, and I can say that for the entire experience you know, of this film. You know, it's just, you know, really shows once again that Spielberg is just you know, of every kind of decade, he's bringing you know, just you know, so much you know, greatness to the screen, and you know, this film, and you know, a variety of different films, Warhorse as well, you know, just a film I truly love, and you know, this film here, absolutely stunning, and very very close, I feel, to being you know, an absolute masterpiece. And you know, regardless, I think you know, quite a bit of this film, you know, is, and just, I think you know, had the kind of first half been as good as the second half, then yes, I would have been calling this a masterpiece. But regardless, throughout the entire film, you know, I was always, to an extent, intrigued, invested, and rooting for Donovan, you know, and Abel as well, seeing where things would go. Such a kind of cinematic film as well, and you know, so moving. You know, by the end of this film, I was just, as I say, in tears, and just a very very emotional film. And I love how it's kind of, you know, this classic film in many regards. You know, kind of a Frank Capra film, it feels like at times, and just a kind of noir film as well. It's kind of atmospheric, you know, really you know, intense atmosphere portrayed in the first half, and you know, even more so in some regards, but not quite, you know, in similar kind of in the visual aspect, you know, in the second half. And you know, it's kind of, it's more tense, it's more kind of atmospheric, and you know, chilling, I guess, you know, in the second half, but it isn't, you know, the kind of for example, the scenes in the rain, you know, nighttime, you know, early on in the film, that really felt, you know, very very classic, you know, its approach, and just really loving this, the visuals to this film, the cinematography, and just the kind of colour palette, and the way in which Spielberg really bringing out, you know, and his team, of course, you know, kind of really portraying this time period, you know, in such, you know, kind of you know, in such a wonderful way, and you know, it's just such a kind of treat visually, and the score, you know, stunning, and just what a film this is, directed so wonderfully, you know, such a great film, and yes, one of the better Spielberg films that I have seen personally. So my final rating for this film is an extremely high one, and that is a 98%. Yes, that's how much I love this film. I think it's just a stunning film, a legendary, you know, piece of cinema, and you know, I think it's one of the better Spielberg films, and this kind of pairing here, once again, between Hanks and Spielberg, is just, it really is a treat, and you know, it's kind of a privilege, you know, pleasure to you know, once again, watch a film that these two collaborated on, and you know, these guys, you know, legends, went together, and just, seeing this film and the way in which it kind of drew on history, and at the same time, being this, this full-on kind of, cinematic piece, I guess, in a particular way, and the kind of magic and at times, yes, I guess the kind of fantastical feeling of this film, is really wonderful to see. The kind of complexities as well, in this narrative, in this core kind of feeling of justice and I guess freedom as well, and peace. One of the core themes that is kind of portrayed in this film. All of this is for being just and for eventually kind of aiming for peace across the world, and a really wonderful film this, and truly human experience, and just it's a magical experience as well. Once again, Spielberg, hats off to this legend, and such a I admire him so much, and always happy to, and more than happy to watch a film by Spielberg, and just to kind of it's a treat and an honour to actually be able to talk about a film by Spielberg, to the camera, and just for anyone to see this, and just to kind of get a discussion going, and in that sense, we'll wrap up, and yes, a discussion, because if you want, you can leave your thoughts in the comments, and we can kind of go further, and you can share your thoughts on this film, and it'd be great to know what you think of this, and just other Spielberg films, of course, and always happy to discuss this guy's legendary career, and of course there's a few that I haven't seen yet, so I look forward to that, and this being one of them as well. Until now, very recently, had never seen this, and it was just, despite my kind of my 100% faith in those involved, I guess it still exceeded my expectations, and just what a film! Hats off, a truly legendary for me piece of cinema, and I think this is kind of perhaps underappreciated. Actually, it's really one of the remarkable films of recent times, and it really feels very vintage and classic, and just. I loved this film, and such an uplifting film. This bittersweet, the ending, but of course, kind of bring that dark intensity, and the kind of, yes, I guess the sadness to this, as well. Uplifting experience in the end, and the way in which we learn, the kind of information reminds us that Donovan did go on to do even more, kind of. He did help even more, and it's very inspiring, and yes, that's what the film is: inspiring, uplifting, magical, and very, very, very investing. That's for sure. And yes, a wonderful film. This is cinema. What a cinematic piece this is, and I just loved it really from the get-go, and even more so in the second half, and just what an experience. A wonderful, emotional film, and yes, that's my thoughts on Bridge of Spies, and as I say, it'd be great to hear your thoughts on this film, and a variety of different films, perhaps that Spielberg has been bringing to us, through this magic medium, cinema, of course. And yes, we'll wrap up. That's it. We'll kind of end it there, and it'd be great to hear your thoughts, as I say. And as always, take care, and thanks for watching.